If we look at who is the healthiest nation in the world, we end up with Spain. They eat delicious food, lots of different vegetables, meat, olive oil, a glass of wine after the meal, in short, everything in moderation. But if you're an adrenaline seeker who overdoes it and like to experiment like I do, then there is no Mediterranean diet that can save you. If it were true that you are what you eat and everyone was moderate, then all of us would be the same. Moderation is boring, there are no challenges, and besides it doesn't lead to any knowledge. I believe that every organism functions differently. The biochemistry of each of us is different, and that there is no universal answer as to what type of food we should eat to keep our bodies in optimal condition. My way is to consume a large amount of a particular food in a given period of time, so I can assess how it is affecting me. Trying to find my magic formula that will help me get healthier and stronger, I've almost died a few times. When I was little, my grandparents would give me chocolates every day to show their love, which I really appreciated, but I became addicted to sugar my whole life. Sugar combined with a lot of stress later led to hair loss and eczema on my skin, but I've solved the problem by getting divorced and replacing sweets with fresh fruit, which also had a positive effect on my teeth and digestive system. Struggled to avoid any kind of sugar. I also tried replacing it with tasty full-fat cheese, and the substitute was excellent. I could forget about sugar forever. The problem is that the full-fat cheese isn't much healthier than sugar. The cheese is tastier, gives more energy, but promotes obesity and cellulite. I quickly gave up the full-fat cheese and tried with milk. However, milk and dairy products cause water retention in the cells and have had a very bad effect on my vocal cords, voice, and my chronic laryngitis. However, milk provides protein and it's sweet. As a young girl, I tried to be vegan by avoiding all foods of animal origin, meat, milk, and eggs. For a few years, I only ate vegetables, fruit, and nuts. Because I didn't follow the rules of a proper vegan diet, I developed anemia, and from the first major infection, I got the fever. And despite correct antibiotic injections, I couldn't get out of bed for a few weeks. Since my body ran out of proteins, the veins on my lower legs became swollen and painful at the slightest touch, and I was unable to walk. The doctors said my blood had become very weak, with few erythrocytes, iron was very low, and to improve blood quality, I had to take supplements and eat about 200 grams of beef every day. At that moment, I had to give up my vegan diet to get healthy. Many years later, during my menopause, my diet consisted mostly of fruits, nuts, milk, but I also started eating about 150 grams of dark chocolate every day. After eating like this for about 1 or 2 months, I started getting heavy menstrual bleeding that I couldn't stop for more than 30 days, and ended up in the hospital for blood transfusion. After a few days, I was discharged from the hospital, but my bleeding would not stop. For a moment, I thought I was dying. I got terrible diarrhea and started throwing up everything until my stomach was completely empty. Somehow I stayed alive and my bleeding stopped for a few hours. At that moment, I realized that the bleeding was caused by the chemistry in my stomach. All the foods I ate at the time contained estrogens: walnuts, almond, peanuts, hazelnuts, sesame, milk, which could lead to a hormonal imbalance, especially in connection with my menopause. Chocolate dilates blood vessels and increases bleeding. From that moment on, I went on a diet, avoided all the sweet, fatty and estrogenic food, and my bleeding gradually stopped. But a bad blood count caused immunity to drop, and since I was a good target for all the viruses and bacteria around me, I was sick continuously for more than 6 months. Because of this, I had to find a natural antibiotic that would protect me from germs. I used to take a lot of onion and garlic at the time, but found that my bacteria were accustomed to garlic and I got no benefit from it other than a bad smell. So I discovered ginger and immediately started drinking at least half liter of very strong ginger tea every day, and my health quickly improved a lot. Even in the first year of the Corona-19 disease, I was completely healthy. Ginger killed all viruses and bacteria and also helped me with my chronic laryngitis. But the tea was strong and very spicy and made my fingertips and toes tingle. Eventually I got an allergy to ginger in a form of eczema on my elbows and fingers and had to stop. The reason I'm experimenting with food is to find an inexhaustible and low-calorie source of energy that will give you enough energy, keep you awake, and improve your mood. For a moment it looked like a very simple solution. Pure water. Large amount of water raise blood pressure, bring a phenomenal mood, and give a lot of energy. But the problem appears a few hours later. The blood is diluted, water flushes electrolytes from the cells, the body begins to tremble, a strong hunger and need for salt appears. Again, no positive results for me in terms of a sustainable and harmless high energy source. Since all of my food experiments were disaster and for some reason I can't be moderate, maybe the best solution would be to move to Spain.